Thank you for joining us. Welcome RRU graduates, alumni, family and friends, faculty, staff, and honored guests to the Royal Roads University 48th Convocation Ceremony. My name is Jennifer Smith, your Alumni Engagement Coordinator within Alumni Relations. It's my absolute honor to welcome each of you to your special day. This is a unique time, and although we can't be together physically to celebrate with each other, we'll have an opportunity to participate at an in-person celebration once it's safe to do so. Here's a little bit of what to expect today. Today's exciting celebrations will include congratulatory messages from our President and Vice-Chancellor, Dr. Philip Steenkamp, Chancellor and Chair of the Board of Governors, Nelson Chen, 2 honorary degree recipients whose incredible contribution helped Royal Roads University come to fruition and whose commitment to global education we applaud. We will then be privileged to hear a graduate message from one of our colleagues graduating today. Following the conclusion of this formal ceremony, you will then be invited to your virtual graduate procession, which is where you will be individually recognized for your hard work and accomplishment. You will also hear from your faculty and staff who have supported you along the way. Thank you for being with us. Today is your celebration.
Oh, Canada, our home and native land, true patriot love in all of us command. With glowing hearts we see thee rise, the true north strong and free. From far and wide, O Canada, we stand on guard for thee. God keep our land glorious and free. O Canada, we stand on guard for thee. O Canada, we stand on guard for
Creator Great Spirit, we thank you for this special day as we honor and celebrate our graduates of Royal Roads University. We thank all those in your journey to graduate, family, relatives, friends, teachers, mentors, elders who supported you, who stood by you, who are there for you. We thank you, the graduates, for staying the course. Your perseverance and hard work are an inspiration to us all. May you enjoy the rest of your journey in your communities, who will cherish and welcome your return. Creator Great Spirit, bless each graduate with peace, love, health, wealth, harmony, and happiness. Recipient.
Asa Yux'wey'lupton, Chile asa Lekwungen. Good day, my friends and family. My First Nation name is Yux'wey'lupton, and my English name is Butch Dick. Asiem nus delacha, asiem nus walakwa. Haishkwa kwansana techo Lekwungen tanuk. Haishkasiem nakwilia. Haishkasiem. Thank you.
Chancellor Chan, President Steenkamp, honored guests, graduands, families, and friends. It is an enormous pleasure to join you today as you celebrate on the traditional territories of the Esquimalt and Lekwungen peoples. Haichka Siam. And although we can't gather in person to celebrate your achievements, we are joined together in spirit of camaraderie and resolve that has characterized this past, most challenging year. I want to thank everyone in the university community, staff, faculty, alumni, and students for pulling together on this journey. The past year has shown us the best of British Columbia, and I have found inspiration in countless examples of unstinting generosity and compassion that have emerged around the province. People from all walks of life and every part of the province looking out for each other as neighbors, as friends, and as fellow citizens. These examples show us that when called upon, we can live up to the responsibilities of citizenship and community and pull together to solve common problems. To the graduands, in a world where knowledge is our most important asset, your success is our success, and your future is our future. Of all the knowledge that you've acquired in your studies, this simple bit of wisdom, that more is achieved working together than alone, is perhaps the most important of all. As you leave this institution and embark on the next chapter of your lives, I encourage you to carry this thought with you to help chart a better, kinder, more inclusive future for yourselves, for your community, indeed, for all of us. As you say here at Royal Roads, perhaps the most valuable learned experience to cherish is in your motto, life changing. On behalf of all British Columbians, please accept my heartfelt congratulations and very best wishes for every possible success and happiness as you yourselves define these things. Haichka Siam.
Greetings everyone, Premier John Horgan here, coming to you from the traditional territory of the Lekwungen-speaking people, the Yux'wey'lupton First Nation. And I want to offer my heartfelt congratulations to today's graduates. You have persevered in your studies through a year unlike any in living memory. You are graduating as we end the global pandemic that has rocked us around the world. I also want to congratulate today's two honorary degree recipients. Dr. Weichang Yang is an educator who has encouraged understanding and collaboration between cultures. Thank you so much, Dr. Yang, for all that you have done to earn this honorary degree. And Dan Miller is a predecessor of mine in the Premier's office here in beautiful British Columbia. And we also have a history together. He was once my boss. As Premier, he hired me to be his Chief of Staff. And I can only hope that I'm half as good to my staff as he was to me. As a cabinet minister, Dan had the foresight to begin a process that led to the creation of Royal Roads University. His support for this institution has never wavered. Thank you, Dan, so much for all you did to make sure that Royal Roads could become a reality. And to today's graduates, friends, and family who are gathering, celebrate this day of achievement. Celebrate for the graduates of today, and also let's prepare them to be the leaders of tomorrow. In business, in education, in civil society, in our public service. Now more than ever, our province and our country are relying on people like you. We will be hard-pressed to address the challenges coming out of the global pandemic, but we need to build a better, stronger province for everyone. And the graduates from Royal Roads University can be contributors to that, just as honorary degree recipients Dr. Young and Dan Miller have in the past.
Hello, everybody, and welcome. Mr. Chancellor, honored guests, faculty, students, staff, proud families, and most of all, the people whose achievements we're here to recognize today, our Spring 2021 graduates. It's my great privilege to join you from the traditional ancestral lands of the Townsin and Lekwungen ancestors and families. I'm speaking today from the Dogwood Auditorium, our leading-edge new space on campus, and a bold realization of who we are at our core. Repurposed from a decommissioned 1950s pool building, it has been transformed into a multi-purpose academic and presentation space, purposefully designed to benefit the communities in which we live and to combine tradition with innovation and sustainable practices. It's where we will, soon we hope, hold lectures, host community events, and celebrate our graduates. This is now our second virtual convocation during this global pandemic. And while I regret we can't all be together in person here in this remarkable building, I am delighted to be with you in this virtual space. We hope to be back on campus this fall and welcome you, our spring graduating class, back to visit. Now, this has been an exceptional year, unlike any other time in our lives or educational journeys. You've worked so very hard for this moment, and I know that you've had to dig deep to meet the demands of the unexpected challenges you have faced. Every one of you has risen to the occasion. Now, I'd love to tell you that the hard work is over, that it's all clear sailing from here, but you know that's not true. But I know you are up to the challenge. You have already proven it. Despite the global events of the past 15 months, the physical distance we have had to keep, unable to be together in person, the challenge of learning and working from home for so many of you, plus the demands of helping children learn online for so many of the parents among you, look at what you, our graduates, have achieved during this momentous time. The courage and resilience you have shown throughout the pandemic is extraordinary. You have survived and even thrived in a rapidly changing world, and indeed, this is our aim at Royal Roads, to equip each and every student with the skills needed to tackle every challenge. Those skills, the ability to lead positive change, drive social innovation, and always grow and develop personally and professionally, are built into every aspect of Royal Roads' teaching and learning. The pandemic has shown us that leading with courage is so critical during moments of change and transformation. At Royal Roads, we are guided in that effort by our vision, launched during our 25th anniversary, inspiring people with the courage to transform the world, and also by our values of caring, creative, and courageous. When these powerful values intersect, remarkable change is possible. So what type of transformation are we aiming for? And how will we get there? At Royal Roads, our aim is bold: a just and sustainable community and world. Our students embody this aim. Cheryl-Lynn Townsin is a perfect example. She's convocating today with a Master of Arts in Global Leadership. While grieving the death of her daughter Lexi from a rare disease called Blau syndrome halfway through her program, Cheryl-Lynn turned her grief into action by using what she learned fighting for Lexi to create a documentary on children with rare disease as her capstone project. She continues to fight for changes to the healthcare system for other kids like Lexi. Cheryl-Lynn, your courage and strength is an inspiration to all of us. You are the very kind of leader we need as we strive to change the world for the better. Another leader working for justice, innovation, and sustainability is Jenna Anderson Gilbride. who receives her Master of Arts in Tourism Management today. Jenna is a Nunat Sivut Inuk woman from the Inuit community of Makuvik, Labrador, and she works as a visitor experience manager at Torngat Mountains National Park. Jenna's capstone project focused on Indigenous tourism recovery after COVID-19. She's determined to promote her region as a tourism destination, improving economic prosperity while celebrating and preserving Labrador Inuit culture and heritage. Jenna, I can't wait to see you achieve those goals. And I think I have to add Labrador to my travel list after the pandemic. The commitment, creativity, and dedication of our graduates always fills me with hope and energy. Graduates, you have proven your courage, resilience, and ability to change your own lives. You are change makers and change leaders. I know that you will bring that leadership to your workplaces, communities, homes, and families, and make a real, lasting, positive difference. As you take the next steps in your journey, I want to offer you 3 pieces of advice. They have never steered me wrong. First, never lose sight of your capacity to change yourself. See change not only in terms of your own adaptation, but as something you can actively bring to the world. Second, join with others who share your commitment to change. And finally, wade right in. Don't wait for perfect conditions. Dive in and tackle wicked problems and push for the change you want to see. Congratulations on your achievements. I can't wait to see what you do next. And please keep in touch with us as we continue to transform the world together.
I am honored to recognize that we are celebrating your accomplishments from the traditional ancestral lands of the Townsin and Lekwungen peoples. Greetings to our honored guests, faculty, staff, and of course, our spring 2021 graduating students. And welcome to your friends, families, and supporters. This is my second convocation as Chancellor, and also Royal Road's second virtual convocation. I am so pleased to be here congratulating our newly minted graduates. I know everyone's been waiting a long time for this moment, so I won't speak too long, but I would like to say a few things. Mostly, I'd like to talk about transformation. You are the change agent embodied in our new Royal Roads vision, inspiring people with the courage to transform the world. We are all well aware of the pandemic and its impact on our lives and community. We've seen and experienced the impact on travel, schooling, work, healthcare systems, and global economies. The pandemic has also highlighted societal inequities across all demographics, and especially between developed and underdeveloped countries around the world. For many of us, COVID-19 has been a source of stress, fear, and uncertainty. However, please allow me to share with you some of my thoughts on the benefits of the pandemic. By no means is trying to look at the positive side of the pandemic meant to diminish the suffering, loss, and concerns surrounding us. Rather, the intent is to add a touch of optimism or an opportunity to reimagine the possibilities through these dense and difficult times. Over the past 18 months, COVID-19 has accelerated technological innovation and redefined human resilience. Not only has the pace of adopting virtual tools been exponential, many of the innovative technologies we use today barely existed 18 months ago. Video conferencing with virtual backgrounds, amazing. I've always wanted to share an office with my children's mountain of stuffed animals, and no one's the wiser. In the last 18 months, on 2 occasions, I've been to a walk-in clinic without actually walking in. Incredible. For a moment, consider the impact connecting via video alone has had on the evolution of communication, its potential to change healthcare delivery and access to all demographics. How might connecting via video impact transportation choices and behaviors? And what effect might this have on the environment? The downstream, indirect, trickle-down impacts of innovation as a result of the pandemic is awe-inspiring. Resilience. I have seen, as I'm sure you have as well, incredible acts of strength, courage, and persistence. For many, COVID-19 was a catalyst to a fresh start, a pivot in your career, a side hustle, a second chance at entrepreneurship, or a complete change and refocus on what truly matters to you. For my elementary age children, it has been an opportunity to switch to homeschooling. That's perhaps the best example of strength, courage, and persistence. Admittedly, I did not know my family was capable of this level of resilience, as I'm sure you've also witnessed and been inspired by the human ability to adapt to change, built off a level of resilience we all have, something that gives me comfort and hope for all of us. I'll close by hoping you'll accept more than simply my congratulations for what you've achieved with us, but also a challenge to bend, curve, twist the direction of all of our paths forward in favor of equality, social responsibility, and a more just society. As daunting as a challenge as this may seem, the truth is, you are better positioned than any generation before to meet this challenge. Congratulations, class of 2021, and all my wishes for every success in your futures. Thank you.
Dan Miller was a millwright the first time he was elected to political office in Prince Rupert. Now, a millwright maintains, disassembles, and reassembles machinery, an essential trade with a unique set of skills. Millwrights make everything in our modern world run, and are the people who troubleshoot problems, large and small, that others don't see. That insightful mindset and calm problem-solving spirit is something Dan Miller is known for throughout British Columbia. And in a crucial way is the very reason Royal Roads University exists today, with its mandate of applied and professional university education. Mr. Miller, you joined the Legislative Assembly of BC in 1986, ably serving the people of British Columbia for the next 14 years, 10 of those in various cabinet positions of the new Democratic government. You applied your shrewd ability to see flaws and fixes as Deputy Premier and in the ministries of Forests, Energy and Mines, Municipal Affairs, and Employment and Investment. But it was as Minister of Skills, Training and Labour, now called Advanced Education and Skills Training, where a problem and opportunity collided. It was 1995, and Royal Roads Military College was closing. The federal government offered the campus to British Columbia for the purposes of higher education. At the same time, many British Columbians already in the job market were trying to add to their skills in education. But the traditional university format with daily in-person classes and expectations of constant availability did not meet their needs. They had jobs, families, and other responsibilities. Mr. Miller, you were one of the small group of political leaders, public servants, and academics who worked to create a new kind of university out of that fortuity. In 1995, it was you who introduced the Royal Roads University Act, which created the very university to provide education in response to the labor market needs of British Columbians. all while maintaining teaching and research excellence. A tall order indeed, especially in an environment so tradition-bound. But you used that act and its words as tools to help shape a new kind of university, from our first class to the present day. Our almost 30,000 alumni, striving and succeeding in their careers around BC and the world, have all been very well served by your efforts to create a university focused on career success and not bound by place or discipline or even time zones. As you remarked on June 15, 1995, as you brought forward the Act for debate, and I quote, "I feel we have an obligation to ensure that people, no matter where they come from in this province, have an opportunity to attend a post-secondary institution or take post-secondary courses. We're trying to move away from bricks and mortar as the only delivery vehicle." We stand here in Colwood and everywhere via the internet as a testament to that vision. It seems fitting that your last role in elected government was as the Premier who safeguarded the office and the province during a time of political turmoil and uncertainty in 1999 and 2000, while working with a certain young Chief of Staff who was eventually elected Premier himself. Premier John Horgan has spoken of you as a mentor, a role model, and a counselor to him during difficult times. You have continued to advise and advocate for what you believe are the best outcomes for working British Columbians and the province's natural resource industries. Your insightful vision, your determination to improve education in British Columbia, and for your special place in the creation and history of Royal Roads University as we celebrate 25 years as a public university. For all of this, it is my great pleasure as President and Vice-Chancellor of Royal Roads to confer upon you, Arthur Daniel Miller, the degree of Doctor of Laws, honoris causa.
By virtue of the authority vested in me by the Royal Roads University Act, and in accordance with the recommendation of the Board of Governors of Royal Roads University, I confer upon you the degree of Doctor of Laws, honoris causa, with all the rights, privileges, and honors here and elsewhere thereto appertaining. It is with pleasure that I now call on Dr. Dan Miller to deliver the Convocation address.
Well, thank you, President Steenkamp and Chancellor Chan. My congratulations to all of the graduates today. I would like to acknowledge that we are on the traditional lands of the Townsin and Lekwungen First Nations, in probably what might be the most magnificent campus anywhere in this country. I recall when I first visited here, when we were looking at the possibility of the province taking over from the federal government because they'd made the decision to close the military college. And indeed, I was struck by the physical setting, the geographical setting, this magnificent campus. But as a guy who, as my mother used to say, probably spent too much time hanging around the pool hall when I was a teenager, I always thought the billiard room in Hatley Castle was pretty special too. I would like to thank President Steenkamp and Chancellor Chan and the Board of Directors for awarding me this honorary degree. I can't tell you what a pleasure it is for me to see that after 25 years, something that I had a hand in creating has been so successful. And I think there's a story here that has some relevance to the broad concept of change. it didn't just happen. It didn't just happen that the feds decided that they were going to close the college and the province said, okay, after some negotiations, we'll agree to take it over. The origins of the university, I think, go back to a fundamental decision made by then Premier Harcourt to combine two separate ministries, the Ministry of Labour and the Ministry of Advanced Education, into one ministry, the Ministry of Skills, Training and Labour. And I should say that, I had a long labor background. I was involved, even back in my days when I was working in the pulp mill, promoting the apprenticeship training system. I thought it was critically important for young people, particularly, to acquire the kind of skills that would allow them to participate in the economy, in the workforce, to find jobs with good-paying jobs, to raise their families. And I noticed that when we brought the two ministries together, notwithstanding that the Ministry of Labour had a long history in training, in the apprenticeship system and others, the two ministries had never really talked. There was no cross-fertilization between these two separate ministries. Now, once I got over holding the hand of the university presidents who were miffed because they'd lost their stand-alone ministry, we then started to think, and I should say, and I should have said at the outset, no achievement is the product of one person alone. And if there's a lesson for graduates, I think it's the broader issue of change. And as President Steenkamp has said, the issue of collaboration. So I just want to give you a couple of examples of things that struck me as a minister who was starting to learn the ins and outs of the ministry. And I must confess that given my background, I was heavily focused on training, not so much on the academic side. I thought that was taking care of itself, but I was focused on training with what I said about apprenticeships, where people could get the skills they needed to participate in this economy. And I'll just cite you one study that was done at the time I was minister, and it talked about post-secondary. And at that time, most people thought post-secondary, really, they thought the ultimate in post-secondary was university degree. But new innovations were starting to come about. And we were struck, and I was struck by a survey that was done back then, asking both parents and students in junior high school what their future plans were. 80% of the students said they wanted to go on to university. 20% or 80% of the parents said their child was going on to university. The reality was about 20% were going on to university. And a lot of kids were coming out of high school with really no prospects for employment other than what might be offered in the local economy. And I recall meeting a young teacher in Kitimat, a high school teacher, who on his own initiative and with the support of the school board purchased 2 courses, of all places, in Texas, from Texas. Technology 1 and Technology 2. And those were introduced into the Kitimat High School. That young fellow told me that he had kids in his class, and it was a combination, by the way, of both in-class and hands-on learning. He'd take his students out, for example, when a modern ship came into Kitimat to load for export. He took the kids down to the ship and showed them the technology, and he energized and got them excited about it, and he told me that these students, some of them, he said they would be dropouts. Some of them wouldn't really be learning math or science at any kind of level. But this program energized and excited them, and he said kids are staying in school and they're learning math and science at a higher level. And my question to him then was, this is wonderful. How can we look at introducing this kind of curriculum across the province? How long would it take? He said it would take years, because it would have to go through the system with a whole bunch of people talking for years and years about developing curriculum. And in my mind, it cemented the idea that that wasn't good enough, it wasn't fast enough. There was another innovation. And again, this came out of Kitimat, where they had a very progressive community college. In fact, the first interim president, Michael Hill, came from Northwest Community College. And in collaboration with the college and with industry and labor, they started looking at new and innovative ways for training. So that a guy like me, a millwright, could take my Red Seal certificate to the community college and get a 2-year degree, not a degree, an engineering certificate. And you would get credits for being a tradesperson. And with that engineering certificate, you could then get credits to go to university and become an accredited engineer. So a lot of innovation was coming out of really unsuspecting quarters. And I thought they were onto something. Now, on the other side of the ledger, universities, in my view, were wedded to the traditional model. Full-time students, sitting in lecture halls with many, many students, in order to go through the process to get their degrees. But we did discover at that time that about 30% of students who graduated from university with a Bachelor of Arts were then enrolling in places like BC Institute of Technology in 2-year courses to get the skills they needed to participate in the economy. And at the time when technology, and President Steenkamp has talked about technology and the change that it has wrought, distance learning. At the same time, there were long lineups. Students were being turned away. They couldn't enroll in university. There wasn't the capacity. And we saw there that if every full-time student in university took one class online, it could significantly expand capacity for those students who couldn't get in. So you can see ideas generated at the local level, new ways of doing things, new technology. And at that time, I had appointed a Labor Force Development Board to look at the changes that were taking place in our economy. And I was painfully aware of that, having worked in a pulp mill and having seen many of them close, many sawmills were closing, other traditional industries were closing. And the people who were employed there didn't have the skills to look at new opportunities in the economy. So I thought we needed to make some changes. So the military college became available, and there was, thankfully, when I look back, strong support in the community, strong support amongst the existing staff at the military college. And I think most importantly, and politics always plays a little bit of a role, there was strong support from the then Minister of Finance, Elizabeth Cull. And when you're a minister and you're always scraping for funds from Treasury, having the Minister of Finance on your side was a real bonus. So we established a panel with Keith Saddlemar, a distinguished public servant who had a long history in Saskatchewan, to give us recommendations on a new model. And Keith's report recommended that we look at a unicameral, and I don't have to, I hope, explain that too much, but the traditional universities have the bicameral with a board of governors and an academic senate. Keith's recommendation is we have a unicameral with just a board of directors. And by the way, that's not to diminish academic, the strength of academia. A unicameral governance structure and the university must facilitate flexibility, relevance, and change. And then finally, and I think another message for graduates, is that change is hard. Change is hard. You've got to have the right people. You need that kind of collaboration. But you also need, and here's what I'm going to come to, you need to implement change. It doesn't just happen. I've seen tons of good ideas go nowhere because you didn't have the right people together to make it work, to make it happen. And I mentioned at the outset that this wasn't just one person, Dan Miller. This was a whole bunch of people who worked very, very hard, who were very forward-looking. And I have to credit, while I'm getting an honorary degree, I have to credit the people who were involved in that teamwork to make implementation possible. My Deputy Minister, Gerry Waters, seasoned civil servant. Dr. Nick Rubidge from my ministry, an outstanding educator. Hugh Gordon, close friend of mine, the first board chair, very forward-looking guy. In fact, a graduate of the military college. And the first president, Gerry Kelly. Really, they and many, many others did the hard slogging, the hard work to make this university what it is today, as outlined by Chancellor Chan and President Steenkamp. And I think 25 years later, the results of the work are clear to see. Royal Roads has stood the test of time. 25 years and growing. So, thank you once again for this honor. And I want to close on a humble note that despite my commitment to change, I've been somewhat resistant to technological change. I don't know if that's a function of age or not, but when I was a kid, I lived for a time on a farm in Abbotsford where the telephone was a wooden box bolted to the wall with a crank you turned to make a call that everybody in the neighborhood could listen in. But just recently, with the help of my very dear friend Mary Lou Marksteiner, using my iPhone, I put a check into my bank. So I'm still learning. So graduates, I hope you go forward from here to use the skills and knowledge you have acquired at Royal Roads to become leaders for change in respective fields. And once again, my congratulations and thank you.
Wow, what a speech, Dr. Dan Miller. I can't think of anybody more fitting to honor during our 25th anniversary year than one of our founders.
Dan Miller, congratulations. You're going to be receiving an honorary doctorate from Royal Roads University in the next few days. Well deserved. As you're a qualified millwright and as Minister of Skills and Training in the 1990s, you helped found Royal Roads University and put an emphasis on not just academic education, but on technological and vocational. So this is a well-deserved award, and enjoy the ceremony.
I was with the military college during the transition to the university. I met you a few times during that process and recall being quite impressed with what you had to say and the actions you took at that time. As a member of the education planning team, as we moved forward with the startup of the institution, I recall quite often wishing you'd been able to continue on with us. At any rate, I'd like to congratulate you on receiving this degree and Thank you very much for the efforts you've made on behalf of Royal Roads.
Thank you, Mr. Miller, for being such a big part of creating this magical place in 1995. We've been home to many since then, and we've provided post-secondary education to people who otherwise would not have had opportunities for that, or for career development, or for the life-changing experiences they found here. We're happy to have you join the ranks of our honorary degree recipients. Congratulations.
The catchphrase, "If Royal Roads becomes like all the rest, there's no reason to exist," pretty well sums up the proactive role that Dan Miller played in helping the workforce, now the new learning force, to meet their lifelong needs by starting a revolutionary special purpose university. The ultimate affirmation of Dan Miller's character was to be chosen by party colleagues to serve as Premier of British Columbia. Royal Roads can be proud to have Dan Miller as a member of their distinguished Royal Roads University Honorary Degree fraternity.
Now to our second honorary doctorate. In the world of business, where success is so often measured solely by profits and returns, Dr. Weichang Yang had a different vision, one that saw business success intertwined with education, innovation, and international cooperation. Dr. Yang, from an early age, you traded the easier path for one of adventure and innovation. In your 20s, you left a comfortable position as youth secretary at a research institute to start your first business. By 1991, you established the Northern Investment Group at the cutting edge of private business in China, just as the country began to truly expand its economic power. Northern Investment Group has since moved into multiple industries, including automobiles, finance, real estate, and construction materials. However, it was when you ventured into education that you found your passion and calling. Your first foray into education was in 1998, launching an investment MBA program. From that small but ambitious beginning, you now have more than 220,000 students in 22 universities in China. In 2013, Dr. Yang founded Beifang International Education Group and Beifang International Universities Alliance, with the aim of sharing resources and improving the education and opportunities of students in China and around the world. Beifang connects Chinese students and academics to their peers around the world through study abroad and exchange programs in Canada, the United States, Australia, and Europe. The program here in Canada teaches and encourages green living and environmental stewardship as part of the education experience. Creating partnerships and encouraging international cooperation is at the very heart of what Beifang does and what you yourself model, Dr. Yang. Cooperation between our educational institutions began in 2013, and students at both have benefited from that relationship ever since. You have also been a friend and a wise counselor to Royal Roads as the university continues to engage with students from China, both at home and here in Canada. Your love of education is not just a business pursuit for you, Dr. Yang. Your own impressive academic achievements include an Executive Master of Business Administration from Beijing University and a PhD in Education from Weichang University of Science and Technology. Your published scholarship consistently argues for the importance of teaching excellence and innovation at every level of education. You are an educator to your very heart. Despite all of your achievements, colleagues and friends describe you as an example of humility and generosity, providing ample scholarships for faculty and staff as well as students. For your belief in the power of education to create a more innovative and tolerant world, your personal and professional commitment to upholding and promoting diversity in academia, and your appreciation and care for your students worldwide it is my great pleasure as President and Vice-Chancellor of Royal Roads University to confer upon Dr. Weichang Yang the degree of Doctor of Laws, honoris causa.
By the virtue of the authority vested in me by the Royal Roads University Act, and in accordance with the recommendation of the Board of Governors of Royal Roads University, I confer upon Dr. Weichang Yang the degree of Doctor of Laws, honoris causa, with all the rights, privileges, and honors here and elsewhere thereto appertaining. Due to the global pandemic, Dr. Weichang Yang delivers the Convocation Address from China.
尊敬的校监先生、菲利普校长、皇家大学的教职工、今天毕业的全体同学们、各位来宾、女士们、先生们，大家好。很荣幸接受加拿大皇家大学授予的荣誉博士学位。皇家大学是全家教育质量最佳大学之一，有幸成为你们的校友，对于我本人乃至中加教育合作而言，都是一份珍贵的肯定和期许。我谨向校监先生、菲利普校长和各位师生表示由衷的感谢。皇家大学对于许多中国人来说不是一个很熟悉的名字，但我要告诉他们，超人前传、X 战警系列等好莱坞大片中美丽的城堡和校园都源自这里。无论是在电影还是在现实中，这里就是泽维尔天才少年学院。我记得贵国第22任总理史蒂芬·哈伯先生曾用一句话很好地形容了美丽的皇家大学。在加拿大，再没有比有着邓斯莫尔勋爵的宏伟城堡以及哈利公园的花园和森林更美的校园了。但谁又能想到，在爱德华七世壮丽的王者之路下，有一所站在时代前沿的现代大学呢？我深信皇家大学校园的美，仅仅看着它的图册就值得用华丽的词藻来形容了。当然还有那首在1983年迎接伊丽莎白女王访问加拿大而谱写命名为哈利公园的歌曲，令人至今难忘。在壮丽宏伟的皇家大学俯瞰奥林匹克山脉和胡安德夫卡海峡，这座加拿大学生心目中最为特别的大学正悄然为中加教育合作的发展积蓄力量，引领更多学子拥抱更大世界。北方国际大学联盟与皇家大学的合作始于2013年，通过国际化项目的合作方式，长期保持紧密合作。我们的合作源自于友谊，我们的友谊又在合作中再次得到升华。我期待并相信皇家大学在未来中加教育交流合作中将发挥重要作用。谈到中加教育合作的未来，我想借用皇家大学的自首 R 来阐述以下3点。首先是 Recipient， 我们生活在一个快速发展的时代，为了适应快速节奏的生活，于是快速读物、快速食品、快速支付应运而生。可以说我们是幸运的，快速发展的时代带来了快速发展的风口，就如同上世纪90年代一样。随着中国国民经济的发展与全球化趋势的日益形成，越来越多的企业走上了快速发展的道路，管理人才不足，管理水平落后， 成为当时制约企业发展的关键因素。我深知，只有每一个员工不断的赋能成长，组织才能得到更好的发展。于是，在1998年，我们与美国的机构携手创办了中美合作的北方工商管理研修学院，正式涉足教育领域，至今已经23年了。越是快速变化的时代，越是要重新学习那些不变的规律，牢牢把握迅速的发展，让我们逐步实现了从无到有、从小到大的蜕变，汇集了众多优秀教育者，共同托起明天的太阳。其二是 recipients。 中国古人曾说过，咬定青山不放松，任尔东西南北风。对于初心的追求，一定是要坚决的。办世界最有价值的民营大学，做全球最受尊敬的教育集团，是北方国际大学联盟的使命愿景，更是我个人一直以来不懈努力奋斗、坚守的初心。这与皇家大学教育学生要坚决果敢不谋而合。我们办教育首先考虑的不是经济效益，而是如何满足个人赋能成长的需求，以及如何培养满足新时代发展需求的国际化人才。我们坚信，只有这样才能把教育持续地办好，这就是我的坚守。最后是 respect。 我国的教育部长陈宝生先生曾说过一句话，我非常的认同。他说，教育质量是尊敬出来的，不是谁抓出来的。成才自尊师始，国安从重教起。此处我讲的尊重，不仅仅是对教师的尊重，还是对学生的尊重，更是对知识、对学术自由的尊重。学术自由是科学进步、追求真理、优质教育和国际合作的基础。学术自由是大学的灵魂，唯有充分享有学术自主权，富有浓郁学术氛围的大学，才能真正找回大学的自我，大学也才能正确地享受其他的权利，主动自觉地走向社会中心。作为大学的核心理念，学术自由是所有一流大学孜孜以求并赖以立足的最为宝贵的根基，所以请珍惜并尊重。女士们、先生们，突如其来的新冠疫情打乱了我前去皇家大学现场接受荣誉博士学位的计划，但是能在线上与校友、师长们共同分享我的体会，我依旧非常荣幸。当今世界正处于100年未有之大变局，我们愈加深刻地认识到教育的重要性。唯有教育才能在最艰难的困境中带来光明的希望。无论何时何地，无论彼此之间存在多少不同，法治、自由、平等与科技都是我们享受这个时代的成果。因此，我们需要相互了解，我们需要相互学习，我们更需要相互帮助，携手努力，共同担当，同舟共济，共度难关，一起来迎接人类所面临的种种挑战，共同构建人类命运共同体。在这点上，我相信中西方的观点是一致的。100年大计，教育为本。我坚信，只有具备国际化视野，才能让我们走得更远；只有具备中国化情怀，才能让我们走得更踏实，从而实现我们办 世界最有价值的民营大学，做全球最受尊敬的教育集团的美好愿景。最后，再次感谢加拿大皇家大学授予我这份无上的荣誉，让我们携手共进，共同探索未来发展之路。谢谢大家。
Thank you for that inspiring speech, Dr. Yang. It is now my distinct pleasure to introduce your fellow graduate, Cheryl-Lynn Townsin, to deliver the graduate address.
Royal Roads faculty, staff, graduates, and supporting family members and friends, it is an honor to be asked to speak on behalf of the graduating class of 2021. Fellow graduates, this is your day to celebrate. Not only have you successfully completed your programs, but you have done this during a global pandemic. I'm sure there were days that you questioned why you were here, and maybe even at times felt like giving up. Perhaps you never felt qualified to take the program in the first place. But you have overcome all of these obstacles to get you where you are today. You've made a lot of sacrifices to get here, and so have your loved ones. Don't forget, this is their day too. The courage, caring, and creativity that got you to this moment are the same values that you will need to embrace as you move forward. This pandemic has magnified the vast systemic inequities that have plagued our world for so long. We are facing challenging times ahead with disease outbreaks, climate change, racial injustice, gender inequality, poverty, mass suffering, and economic devastation. And then we face our own personal challenges. Halfway through my MA in Global Leadership, my 6-year-old daughter Lexi lost her life suddenly and unexpectedly to an ultra-rare disease called Blau syndrome. It was a difficult decision to carry on with my program. I realized quickly that my healthiest coping strategy was to turn my pain into purpose. My capstone supervisor's advice was to pick a project that would get me out of bed in the morning, and that is what I did. I created a documentary film sharing Lexi's tragic story with hope that by raising awareness and by better understanding these rare conditions, we will prevent these devastating losses. It was the love and support of my community that gave me the strength to finish my program and to carry on with purpose. My family, my friends, my cohort, my faculty, and the staff at Royal Roads. I was asked to share my story with you because we all experience hard moments in life, and each of these moments presents an opportunity to examine our lives and shift our focus. It is easy for our pain to make us angry, bitter, and resentful. It is important to acknowledge these feelings, but not to let them control us. Every day, I wake up reliving my worst nightmare. But every day, I choose to turn my pain into purpose, to carry on Lexi's legacy. The past year has illuminated how interconnected we are. Our actions have a global impact, and every one of us has the ability to participate in making the world better for everyone. When this pandemic is over, we need to reconsider how we put this world back together. This is the perfect time to create a new world, one that is more merciful, kind, inclusive, and beautiful. As a graduating class, we are being called to lead with more courage, caring, and creativity than ever before. Royal Road's vision is to inspire people with the courage to transform the world, and we have never been in more dire need of transformational leaders. We are part of a unique alumni family. The students I have met during my time at Royal Roads are here not just because they are looking for a certificate or a salary increase. They are here because they want to make a positive difference. As we celebrate our graduation, it may feel like we have reached the finish line, but this is only the beginning. Now the real work begins. Time to apply our learning, to lead with purpose and compassion, to make this world better and to inspire those around us to do the same. This is your day, graduates. Congratulations.
Thank you, Cheryl-Lynn. We are so proud of you. You truly exemplify leading with purpose and compassion. Chancellor, I present to you this graduating class of Royal Roads University on whom you have conferred the degrees, certificates, and diplomas to which they are entitled.
By virtue of the authority vested in me by the Board of Governors and on the recommendation of the Academic Council of the University, I have admitted each of you to the credential for which you are entitled. I have invested you with all the due rights, privileges, and responsibilities thereto appertaining. May you always be mindful of the motto of this university, living our learning.
Congratulations, graduates. Royal Roads is so very proud of you all. Please now enjoy the slideshow that celebrates you on this very special day.
Congratulations, everyone. We did it in a global pandemic, and we ought to be super proud of ourselves. Congratulations and best wishes for the future.
Huge thanks to my family for encouraging me to do this journey in the first place, and without their love and support, there's no way I would have made it to the end. So thank you so much. Love you guys.
A lot of people, a lot of thanks to achieve this. Danielle, the boys, can't thank you enough for the love, support, patience over the past few years. Thank you.
Hey everyone, I quickly want to say thank you to my parents, my brother Sheldon, Adolfo, Uncle, Fanny, Auntie, Marshall, and my best friends Beth and Mark. This wouldn't have been possible without you guys. Thank you so much.
I'd be remiss if I didn't thank my family, my friends. There's no way I couldn't have done it without all of your help and support. So thank you. My hat's off to you.
Hey, it's official. I'm an MBA graduate. One thing I can say, if you have the opportunity to do a master's, just do it. Figure out how to do it. This has been life-changing for me.
Je vous aime, mes amours. Merci beaucoup pour votre appui. C'est fini! Youpi, bravo!
MBAers 2021, I'm so proud of all of us. You all had a major impact on my life. Special shout out to Team FOS, Los Jefes, Eric, Inca. Cheers.
Matnamak uiga nutakakalu laksana nakalu takanaka ilaka tamapinagligibape ilinaraning namakunanak.
Graduates, families, and friends, thank you so much for joining us today. Once again, congratulations, Spring 2021 graduates, on your tremendous achievements. We ask you to join us next for the online graduate processions to celebrate you, our newest alumni. You will be able to see your individual recognition clip as part of the graduate procession and view special messages of congratulations from your professors. You can watch the graduate procession immediately after this ceremony on our website and social media channels. Thank you again, and have a wonderful Convocation Day.
Congratulations!
Congratulations to each and everyone.
Congratulations!
I really want to congratulate all of the graduates.
Congratulations!
Congratulations to all you graduates.
Congratulations, 2021 spring graduates of Royal Roads University.